From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, it has been 45 days since the body of Janessa Kemsky of Fairbanks was found off a trail in North Pole.
Alaska State Troopers confirmed this afternoon that Kemsky's death is considered suspicious and is being investigated as a homicide. Her family members say there are still many unanswered questions surrounding her death, including the area in which she was found. New details show the last time Kemsky was seen was in the Fairbanks area, far from that isolated road where a man chopping wood found her remains. Kemsky was seen at a gas station on 23rd Avenue on October 22nd. Family members say she was carrying a suitcase. Kemsky's sister has been active on social media, asking anyone who may have seen her sister to come forward.
Any information, even if, around that time, a week before Halloween or up until November 2nd when she was found, if she asked to use your cell phone or if she flagged you down or you saw her get into a car, that kind of information, or anybody she knew on Freeman Road or around there, that would be awesome information.
Do you feel like in your hearts that somebody did this?
I feel that, yeah, that she didn't get out there on her own, yeah.
If you have any information regarding Janessa Kemsky and her whereabouts, you can phone Alaska State Troopers at 451-5100.
A Fairbanks teenager will serve 7 years jail time after a shooting at the Wedgwood earlier this year. 17-year-old Chester Fields pleaded guilty and, as part of a deal with the state, will serve his time at the Wildwood Correctional Center in Kenai. Fields and his accomplice, 21-year-old Isaiah Cross, were also ordered to pay restitution to the victims of the shooting, as well as to the Wedgwood for damages. The two forced their way into the hotel, where they reportedly used multiple guns. One of the teens was shot several times. Prosecutors say the incident was a robbery gone bad, adding that Fields was already facing criminal charges at the time.
Jury selection began this morning in the trial of a Fairbanks man accused of beating his wife earlier this year. 51-year-old Ivan Bolden is facing 4 charges, including second and third-degree felony assault. Court documents say Bolden repeatedly beat his wife while walking down the street, punching and biting her in the face, and later choking her until she lost consciousness. Bolden was taken into custody and ordered held without bail due to the seriousness of the charges, as well as his criminal history. According to court records, Bolden has a long history of assault and other criminal charges.
Congress has approved funding to increase the number of missiles at Fort Greely, located near Delta Junction. Under the plan, there would be 40 missiles at the site, 14 more than there are now. The $50 million appropriation is part of the $1.1 trillion federal spending plan that passed last weekend. The money will be used to start a new field preparation and restore a previously mothballed missile field.
The Alaska Industrial Development and Export Authority today wrapped up a 2-day meeting with elected village and rural leaders on the proposed Ambler Road project. The group heard public testimony on the project that would build a 200-mile industrial road through the southern Brooks Range, connecting the Ambler Mineral District with the Dalton Highway. The corridor will run through several villages and open access to the remote villages of Shugnak and Kobuk. Proponents of the project suggest construction of the road would stimulate job growth and economic development. Some of those who testified today feared this access would infringe on their traditional ways of life and encroach on subsistence hunting grounds.
This is not a simple economic decision. It is a decision about the people of Alaska. Should they put down their hunting rifles and pick up road signs? Should they eat dollars instead of caribou? Should the state of Alaska support foreign mining interests and neglect their own people? That needs to change before anything else on this project moves forward. In the meantime, I say no road to Ambler.
You know, we do have to talk about this unusually warm weather.
Oh, absolutely. It's just amazing. It's becoming its own news event because of, for it being so warm.
It is. I mean, it's great, but the only person who knows more and is the best to talk to us about this is Mike Schultz.
Yep, he's joining us now with our first look at weather. Mike?
And you know what, guys? It's not going to change. The weather pattern is not showing any signs of major changes going on whatsoever. On our latest satellite and radar, again, you can see down to the south, looking at, again, some widely scattered showers moving across the Prince William Sound and the Kenai Peninsula and over southeast Alaska. But here in the interior, just mainly high clouds. And you don't see any major storms to change that weather pattern whatsoever. We may get a little bit cooler, that's about it, but then this weekend, warm back up again. So the weather looks pretty good heading into the weekend. We'll talk more about all the weather in general later on. Stephanie, Daryl?
I think this warm weather has Mike tongue twisted.
Oh, yeah, can happen. All right, when we come back, see? Tongue twist right there.
It is.
We'll have more after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. A North Pole teen was in Fairbanks Superior Court after he allegedly stole a 15-passenger church van. 19-year-old Sean Kirkvold is facing charges of vehicle theft, criminal mischief, and resisting arrest in connection with the December 5th incident. Now, yesterday, he pleaded not guilty. An affidavit stated Kirkvold was pulled over by troopers in the McGrath Road Baptist Church van. The vehicle had been hot-wired and started with a screwdriver. In addition to that, Kirkvold had used a razor blade to remove the church's sign from the van. Troopers also said Kirkvold was in possession of methamphetamines at the time of his arrest. Trial for his case was scheduled for March 2015.
The Fairbanks Police Department is warning residents to keep an eye on their mailboxes this holiday season. According to officials, there have been an increase in reports of mail thefts over recent weeks. The thieves tend to look through the mail for money, gifts, and gift cards, with a particular interest in holiday-type boxes and cards. Police have offered tips to keep your mail safe this holiday season and throughout the year, such as purchasing mailboxes with locks and knowing when your mail carrier runs. Post office workers have reported being followed, and police say those searching through the mailboxes usually will come right after the mail is dropped off in order to rummage through the items.
Asking folks to be aware, specifically in some of our more crowded neighborhoods where mail is gathered and in certain areas, to just be aware of people that are suspicious in the neighborhood, going through the neighborhood. It appears again that these folks followed the mail carrier shortly after the mail was delivered, gathered it, and then went through it and then dumped it nearby.
Although the areas targeted seem to be the densely populated neighborhoods, police say this can happen anywhere and urge residents to report any suspicious activity in their area.
Last night at the West Valley High School Theater, soldiers from the 9th Army Band were busy moving equipment in from the cold. Now, it was all for a good reason. The band was preparing the stage for a 2-day holiday show being presented tomorrow. Now, the first show will be a 4 p.m. matinee aimed at the younger set, while the 7 p.m. show will cater more to adults. Admission is free for both shows, and each will not only have special music added, but a few surprises as well.
We have a couple of surprise guests coming. We have our whole theme or premise behind the show is actually Santa's journey. So we're going to be following Santa on his kind of last dress rehearsal or dry run for his little adventure journey on December 25th. So we're going to play some music that coincides with some of the places that he's stopping at along the way throughout the world.
Leaders from 1st Battalion 5th Infantry Regiment conducted an assessment of their soldiers at Birch Hill Recreation Area on December 5th. Monty Bowen explains what they are preparing for in this week's military report.
The soldiers earlier this month were getting ready for the USARAC Winter Games, which are scheduled for March of 2015.
The event today was meant to mimic the events of last year's USARAC Winter Games, is to prepare our teams for the USARAC Winter Games in Anchorage that will happen next year. So we are using this as an event to validate our teams and to select the soldiers that are going to represent 1-5 Infantry next year.
Operation Bobcat Ice began with 6 10-man teams snowshoeing up Birch Hill while pulling a sled.
We had soldiers doing cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, biathlon shooting, and 3-mile loop with snowshoes and Akio.
There was good weather during the training, and that helped.
We had to get outside while it was still decent enough and warm enough to go outside. The weather wasn't too bad, so go outside and do stuff in the woods. It's our job.
Getting ready for the games can be a fun event for the soldiers.
Who wouldn't rather be skiing down Birch Hill than sitting in an office? So I think the soldiers had a good time with it as well.
For many of those taking part in the training, this was their first time skiing. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Stanley Nissan. Innovation for all.
All right, well, Joe Cook is up next with a look ahead to a weekend basketball tournament featuring the Alaska Nanooks.
Plus the latest Pro Football Challenge standings and much more. Stay with us with Joe.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you with your local Hump Day Sports. The UAF women's basketball team will have a chance to end 2014 on a good note. This weekend, they will be in Anchorage for the 6th annual Seawolf Hoops Classic in the Alaska Airlines Center. UAF will take on the Pacific University Boxers in the opener on Friday. Pacific won 8 games last season, but they come into the tournament with a 4-3 record. Olivia Cook and Sarah Curl lead the Boxers with 13 points per game, while Cook gets 9 rebounds per. On Saturday, Alaska will close out against Texas A&M Kingsville, the Jalavinas. The Jalavinas won 11 games last season, but they are winless this year with an 0-7 record. Sophomore guard Micah Weavers leads the Texas A&M Kingsville squad with 10 points and 4 boards per game. The tournament hosts, the UAA Seawolves, are 9-0, and they are ranked 3rd in the country. Your Alaska Nanooks are 6-4 and 0-2 in the GNAC in their first 10 games. As a team, the Nooks are 5th in scoring and in assists, and they also are 2nd behind UAA in steals per game in the GNAC. They've shown balance with sophomore forward Jordan Wilson leading 4 other Nanooks with at least 8 points per game. Heading into this competitive tournament, the team is rested and energized after a much-needed bye week.
This was actually a really good bye week. It gave us time to recover from our previous games. It made us think about what we want to accomplish in the future. And Coach has really been emphasizing our defensive aspect of the game. And so we've been really working on that and boxing out. And as long as we have good defense, offense will come, and that's what we're looking forward to.
We play good defense. We've been holding teams to not too high of numbers, but our defense is definitely an area that we're working on, making sure we have nice clean box out so we can secure defensive possessions with a rebound at the end of it, just finishing the possession strong, stuff like that.
One of the Alaska Nanook hockey players was recognized as one of the best in the conference this week. Junior right winger Nolan Heisman was named WCHA Offensive Player of the Week. Heisman scored 3 points in Alaska's first WCHA sweep over the Alabama Huntsville Chargers last weekend. Each point was crucial. Heisman assisted on Taylor Munson's game-winning goal in the 2-1 overtime win over the Chargers on Friday night. Then on Saturday, Heisman scored the first goal and eventual game winner of a 4-0 shutout win on Saturday night. The Ponoka, Alberta native is 3rd on the team in goals with 5 and 5th on the team with 9 points so far this season. The Nanooks go into the winter break with a 10-8 overall record, 5-7 in the WCHA. They are 6th in the conference. Alaska will be in action a day after New Year's, hosting the Ferris State Bulldogs on Friday, January 2nd at the Carlson Center. A local product represented Team USA in the World Cup freestyle competition in Dover, Switzerland. Lathrop grad Reese Hahnemann was one of 4 Alaskan skiers on the U.S. ski team for Sunday's World Cup sprint freestyle. Hahnemann, an Alaska Pacific University skier, placed 86 overall. Keegan Randall of Anchorage, a 2011 Alaska Sports Hall of Fame inductee, she placed 20th. Ida Sargent placed 11th to lead Team USA. Team Norway swept the men's and women's races. The World Cup ski competition continues this weekend with the women's 10K and men's 15K races. And we wrap up the Wednesday Sportscast with this week's Pro Football Challenge winner. The winner for Week 14 is Kay Townell. Congrats, Kay Townell. You get an oil change courtesy of Stanley Nissan. It was a good week for Kay Townell, who picked 14 of 16 games correctly. Now we're coming to the final stretch, just 2 more weeks in the NFL season. Remember, the grand prize for the Pro Football Challenge winner is a generator from Outpost, Alaska. In the latest PFC point standings, Dylan Grood is clinging to first place with 154 points. Truegit 69 is right there with 152, and Axel Bourne is in the mix with 151. I have 128 points, but Mike Schultz has 139, and Didi Kacheri, our boss, is beating both of us with 141 points. And that's a wrap for sports. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. For more KTVF Sports, follow us on Twitter at KTVF11Sports. Watch us on YouTube on our YouTube channel. Download the KTVF mobile app. And, of course, visit webcenter11.com. Mike Schultz is next with your 4-weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back to our Wednesday night newscast, everyone. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather. And, again, like I said earlier, the weather pattern is not showing any signs of change. Maybe next week we might possibly see a little chance of snow. We'll have to keep our eyes out for that. On our photograph for tonight, looks like a giant sundae of some sort, but a beautiful picture here taken by Marty Hall with the snow, the heavy wet snow that he had moved across his Christmas tree and blanketed it with this interesting design. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means send it to photos at ktvf11.com. And of course, we are looking for those Christmas photos too as we get closer to that magic day. The numbers look like this. The high today 16, the low last night 14. Record high 38, 1909, 52 below in 1933, and your sunrise and sunset 3 hours and 44 minutes of daylight as we get closer and closer to that shortest day of the year. And as far as what's going on across the rest of the state right now, a little rain falling around the Ketchikan area, just mainly cloudy skies at Juneau. Clear to partly cloudy skies in the Anchorage Bowl, 28 degrees there. Kodiak, some showers and about 40 degrees. Along the Aleutian Chain, partly cloudy to cloudy skies. Clear to partly cloudy skies up and down the west coast, and once again, cool temperatures north of the Brooks Range, 9 below at Barrow. Fort Yukon in the plus figures at 7 degrees above. Lower 48 weather, once again, more rain falling. The rain has finally stopped around the California areas, but it's still falling across the Pacific Northwest. In Seattle, kind of a chilly rain there too, 48 degrees. More rain across Texas. And Minneapolis checking in with 20 degrees, while over the Northeast, it's a very balmy 53 in New York. New Orleans, 59 and cloudy skies, and 80 degrees in Miami, and lots of sunshine. The rainfall potential for Thursday and in through Sunday, as you can see over here, all the way from, well, Vancouver right on down into parts of Northern California is looking like some pretty healthy amounts, 4 to 8 inches along the coastline there, and cooler and wetter conditions as you move inland. And as far as the satellite, the latest satellite radar, you can see once again, looking at the pink indicating where the frozen precipitation is moving across the Great Lakes, the rain moving across parts of Texas. And on the west coast, a little bit of respite for the next system. You can see the outer edges of it starts to move in and affect much of the western half of the country. Well, the jet stream will be changing once again. Looking at it moving off the Pacific Ocean and diving down, not quite as low as it was yesterday, so a little more zonal, which means dry and cooler to the south and snowy and chilly to the north and over the eastern half of the country. Maybe some snow there also. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Snow showers expected for Barrow, partly cloudy skies in Nome, and isolated snow showers at the Fort Yukon area. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at partly cloudy skies early, then becoming mostly sunny by afternoon, with temperatures kind of chilly, only 5 degrees in the Fairbanks area, a little warmer around Haley. Over southeast Alaska, rain and snow showers for Juneau, and steady rain in the Ketchikan area. While over the southwest part of the state, rain and snow is expected at Cold Bay, partly cloudy skies at Bethel, and some rain for Kodiak Island. And as you're heading over to the south central sections, mostly cloudy skies at Homer, but partly cloudy skies in Anchorage and Valdez. Okay, once again, it is time for our kids' weather, and all this week we're talking with the kids from North Pole Elementary School. Here's a young man with a weather question for me.
Hi, my name's Gabe, and I am from Mrs. McHenry's class, and I am going to ask the weatherman a question. What is the highest temperature ever recorded in the middle of the Arctic winter?
And the warmest temperature ever recorded in the wintertime in Alaska was 62 degrees near Lake Clark, and that's pretty darn warm for the wintertime conditions. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night we'll wrap things up with a teacher. She's going to be here to give us a unique weather fact. Okay, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. Cloudy skies, areas of fog, and colder temperatures than last night. 5 below zero for the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast, partly cloudy early, becoming sunny by afternoon. And look at the number, 3 days left until the shortest day of the year tomorrow. How about that? Here's your 5-day outlook. As you can see here, looking at not much change. Temperatures pretty steady right across the board, 5 above during the daytime hours. Overnight lows, once again, very mild compared to what they should be this time of year. Only looking at 0 to 10 below for the overnight low temperatures. And one good positive note to pass along. The kids at Tanana Middle School got together and they just went over to our station over on 7th Avenue and deposited more than 250 toys.
Wow.
They collected for the
toy drive.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, very much.
That is good.
Thank you to you guys. Yeah, absolutely. Good job.
They're in the spirit.
Yes, they are.
Very good. That will That'll wrap up this edition of the Fbx Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the California public schools are getting creative to save the arts programs. That's next with Brian Williams.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Night.